Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we'll be looking at why your chickens or turkeys reduce in laying eggs, or even sometimes they stop laying eggs completely. Now you need to understand why your chickens or turkeys are not laying for you to be able to fix the problem. We will start with the most common reasons that everyone knows, and at the end of the video we'll be sharing what we have discovered to be the most common reason why your chickens or turkeys will not be laying for you eggs, or even when they lay for you they will lay very few eggs. First, let's look at stress, because normally when your birds are stressed, they will stop laying for you eggs for as long as they will be stressed. Now, stress can come from many things. It can come from things like predators. This can easily scare away your birds, and your birds will be able to reduce egg production. The other thing, guys, is going to be if you have extreme noise, if you have too much loud noise, if there's too much heat, this can also cause stress to your birds. Basically, extreme weather will be able to stress your birds. Another thing that can actually stress your birds will be if your birds are having fights. This can come from you introducing new birds. If you've introduced a new flock into your birds, they're most likely going to start fighting, and that can actually stress both the birds, and that can actually affect your egg production. So what can you do to ensure that your birds are not stressed? Now, like for issues like predators, you ensure that your coop is basically predator proof to avoid your birds from being attacked and being scared by predators. During hot weather, you ensure that actually your birds are taking lots of water. You can also use the watermelon to be able to hydrate your birds. For extreme cold temperatures, because that also can be an issue, you can consider adding ginger to the water, because you know that ginger will promote metabolism, and actually this will generate additional body heat for your birds to be able to keep warm, but also it improves blood circulation, and that will also help with keeping your birds warm. The other reason why your birds will not be laying for you eggs, or they will be laying for you very few eggs, is going to basically be their age. As your turkeys and chicken are going to be aging, their egg production is actually also going to be reducing. Your birds are actually going to be very productive in their very first year of laying, and then the production will reduce as they age. Of course, aging is a natural thing. There is nothing much that you can do to get rid of it. But maybe the best way you can deal with this is to have some form of succession plan by brooding young birds so that they can take over from your flock when it gets older. You're going to be looking at maybe 1 to 2 years, and you will be monitoring the production and seeing whether the decline is too much for you to be able to start brooding their successors. For us, we actually do this at around 1.5 years. We will bring in new birds so that they start laying with the old flock, and that way we ensure that we have a transition. There is no particular time when we are lacking eggs on the homestead. That is something that you can do. You can decide to keep introducing young birds after 1 year to ensure that you always have the young birds support the older ones once their egg production goes down. Another reason, guys, for your birds not laying is going to be disease. If your birds are very sick, they will lay very little, or even at sometimes they will give you nothing. This is a very common when you have a brooder hen. It can also even just abandon the eggs. So if you have your bird that has been brooding the eggs, and all of a sudden it becomes sick, it can actually also abandon the eggs. So there are quite many ways that you can check for disease in your flock. Things like the color of the droppings. Is it watery? Is it brownish? Those are things that are going to guide you to check whether your birds are going to be having disease. The other thing is going to be the feather quality. When you look at your birds, do they have rough feathers? Are they losing too much feathers? Of course, you know that birds will be molting at some point, but you can easily detect that your birds are having too much feather loss. That's going to be a sign of disease. The other thing is going to be, is your bird having nozzle discharge? that's going to be a sign of disease. Is it having swollen eyes? Do you have teary eyes? Those are some of the things that you can look out for in your chicken to be able to detect disease. And there are quite many remedies that you can use to be able to address these issues. But for us, we choose to use natural remedies to boost the immune system of our birds. And then we eventually prevent disease in our flock. Of course, we have very many useful remedies that we have shared here on the homestead, using ginger, using garlic, using papaya leaves, using blackjack, using pumpkin leaves and seeds. The mango leaves are also very important. Actually, the list is very long, so we'll be putting a video playlist at the end of this video to kind of guide you to our natural remedies videos, and you should be able to watch all of them and benefit from these natural remedies that we're using here on the farm. We basically depend on this for treatment and boosting the immune system of our birds, and we basically spend very little money on buying medicines, because most of these natural remedies you're going to be getting them for free, except maybe for garlic and ginger. That is something that you can buy, but also it is very easy to grow at your home, so you can even use the grocery store ginger and garlic for you to be able to grow at your home, so that you stop buying this from these stores. Another reason, guys, that your birds will not be giving you eggs is if you're having broody hens. Of course, this point is a bit subjective. It depends on what you really want as a farmer. For us here, we would like to hatch our own chicks naturally here on the farm, so that we kind of restock and we don't depend on hatcheries for our new stock. But if you just want to get eggs, then this becomes a problem, because whenever your broody hen is going to be preparing to incubate the eggs, it will stop laying the eggs so that it can just concentrate on incubating, so that it can hatch for you new chicks. So if that is something that you don't want, for you, you're just interested in having the eggs, then that's when it can become a problem on your side. The way we have found to work to be able to stop your brooder hen is just basically getting some water, putting it in some form of a container, and then you dip your chicken in there for about a minute. Of course, you don't submerge the chicken entirely, but you just have the downer part of the chicken and the legs submerged in the water, maybe until like halfway, for about a minute every time you find it trying to be brooded on the eggs. This will actually stop it from doing so. The other thing is, guys, that you can consistently remove the eggs from your laying nests, so that actually the birds can also get discouraged from trying to be brooded. But this alone will not be able to fix the problem. You must use the dipping method into the water, because this is what we have actually found to work very well. Another problem, guys, is going to be the feeding, what you feed to your birds. Of course, some people want to get eggs, but they don't want to basically give their birds a good meal. And of course, you cannot cheat your birds and expect them to give you eggs. So a good protein, high energy feed is going to be good for your birds. About 15 to 19% protein is going to be sufficient for your birds to lay eggs. But what is also very important is going to be your calcium supplement, because this is going to be very key for the birds to form eggs. If you have this kind of deficiency, then your birds end up laying soft shell eggs. For us, we feed maize. For energy, we feed soybean cake. For protein, we also add sunflower seed cake for fat, and then we add limestone for calcium and other minerals. Then we add charcoal to that feed to be the supplement, and more or less like an organic preventive medicine for our chicken. That's what we feed to our birds, and guys, with this we have actually gotten very good result. It's actually, we mix the feed here on the homestead because we find that to be inexpensive, because the other guys who are selling this feed at the animal feed store will be making a lot of profit from that. But if you don't want to go through the hassle of mixing your own feeds, then make sure that you confirm that actually that feed that you're buying has this calcium, and also it's high in protein. Otherwise, you will not be getting any eggs from your flock. Of course, some farmers neglect how important water is in the element of feeding your birds. But guys, if your birds are dehydrated, basically they will not be able to give you eggs. Because what happens when your birds are dehydrated, they basically go in some form of survival mode. And like anything else, if you're just living for survival, then you will not invest your time in anything like reproduction. So that's why you will not be getting eggs if you're not feeding your birds well and giving them adequate water for them to stay hydrated. So of course the fix here is, guys, providing plenty of water for your birds, especially on hot days. But also I do understand that people that stay in areas where it actually gets frozen and it gets ice, you should be able to still continue giving your birds some water, because you can try to give them lukewarm water for them to be able to drink the water, and also the water will stay liquid for some time before it's frozen. But also you should be mindful that during very cold weather the birds will not be laying that many eggs, because by their instinct they know that once they hatch, these birds or these young birds, they will basically not be able to survive the cold. So the birds actually have that instinct and they will not be able to lay for you during the very cold weather. And it can even go worse and they stop laying completely. So that should be understood. Now guys, from the time we have been raising turkeys and chicken, what we have discovered is that, guys, the most important thing when it comes to your birds laying eggs is going to be daylight. The amount of daylight that your birds are exposed to is going to be very important to ensure that your birds keep laying eggs. Of course, we have seen some people who enclose their chicken or bird structure completely. Of course, the thinking here is that they're protecting them from predators. And of course, if their birds are just come in that structure to maybe lay eggs, and maybe in the night for them to be able to sleep, that cannot be a problem. But if you don't allow your birds to go outdoor and they majorly stay in that structure all day, you need to provide avenues for light to get in. And the other thing is going to be that even you need proper aeration for your birds to be able to actually don't be very hot. And like we have said, if your birds are having too much heat in their structure, they are actually going to be stressed. So daylight is going to be very important. Your birds will actually need roughly about 14 to 15 hours of daylight for them to be able to lay very well. If you've watched the video this far, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so that the next time we upload a video, you are notified to come and watch. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.